Hello neighbors, Stephen here with etrailer.com. Today we're looking at this Demco Excali-Bar 3. It's a non-binding tow bar and it is adaptable with Blue Ox and Curt base plates. So folks, I want to touch base on that part real quick right out of the box here. So let me zoom into these adapters here. So these two adapters here are the adapters that would replace the ones here on the Demco Excali-Bar. You would unbolt them, put these guys on. So you're going to be unbolting this guy right here, taking this black mount here off, putting this guy in its place. And this guy here is going to come with all the new hardware included, all the nylon spacers, all that kind of stuff, new bolts, new locking nuts, and the pins and clips and everything to safely and correctly replace to these adapters. So again, those are going to work with Curt base plates and Blue Ox base plates. So getting back to the tow bar part, so obviously a tow bar is used for flat towing your vehicle behind your RV. So the nice thing about the Demco Excali-Bar is that it's a self-supporting arm design, meaning when this is in the hitch, these arms are held up by their own weight. Now, yes, I have a block of wood under this guy. That's just so it doesn't tip over because this guy is not supported. So the nice thing about this is, again, these arms are over top of each other and they can pivot like this, but they're not going to fall down on you. So when you're hooking up, everything's nice and straight. So speaking of that, the arms do slide out. You can kind of hear it lock out. And then when you need to put them back in, there's a spring lever here, or up here on this one, you can see a little better, but you push down that spring lever and then you can push that bar back in when you're not towing. So again, the fact that they automatically lock out just makes it so much easier. And they are extra long arms too. So that's gonna also help you with tight turns, that kind of stuff. It's gonna give you more turn radius, which if you've already been flat towing, you know that's a big, big deal. Now it does have a nice built-in rise or drop feature and the tilt. So that's gonna ensure the tow bar is level during towing. Now when I say nice built-in rise or drop, you can actually flip this shank over and that'll give you either more or less height that you need. So that'll eliminate a out of level tow bar. So when you're flat towing, you wanna be as level as possible. You don't really want the arms to be super high or super low because that's gonna put stuff in a bind. You don't want that at all. You don't wanna bend stuff. You don't wanna bind anything. So you wanna get as level as possible. Now, another thing to mention that the sidearm bars here where these cables run through, one, it's just a nice feature. So the cables run through there so they're not getting, caught up on stuff when you're towing. But whenever you put this down, you wanna make sure that you remember that these sidebars are side specific. So the one that holds your actual wiring that's gonna be plugged into the back of the RV for your electrical signals, that one always needs to be on the left or the driver's side. Otherwise, if you try to store it with that bar on the passenger side, it's gonna bend those plates with those holes and stuff in them, and you don't wanna do that. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing that as well. Now the quick disconnect on rough terrain, uneven terrain, all that kind of stuff, the non-binding triggers like I was just showing you, that's another great feature that just helps you use this tow bar efficiently compared to some of the other ones that are out there on the market. Now, as I mentioned before, the straight safety cables, again, straight, some out there are coiled. These are straight, they run right along the main bars and they go right through these eyes, and that just keeps them out of the way and also keeps them right where you need them at all times. Now, the storage rod for your electrical cord, which is sold separately, will keep that off the ground as well. So this rod here, I know it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit. So this guy right here, this bar here, that's what you're gonna be using. Again, that electrical cord is sold separately, but that storage rod will help keep that electrical cord off the ground and store it. So all electrical cords out there are coiled, most of them, and you can slide that coil over there, and it's got a nice built-in clip here that you can put through the hole, keep everything nice and in place. So just another nice feature to keep stuff where you need it. Now, as far as storing it, it's very effortless. The swing arms, they simply swing to the left or the right, and then you can lock them in place up here. There's two holes on the sides of these red guys, and you can put a pin through there and lock them in to where they're not pivoting out when not in use. Now, as I mentioned before, with these adapters, you can swap out this guy here on the end, and you can make this fit the Blue Ox or the Curt base plates. So again, you can see those grooves in there. Now I want to kind of show you a view of what this guy looks like whenever it's hooked up. Now this guy here looks like it's hooked up to a Blue Ox base plate. You can see those silver rods on the left there on that truck. And then the adapters in black are pinned to that. And also in the picture you can see a couple cables. So I want to start with the top one, that blue one, that's your electrical cable. And the one closest to us at the bottom of the picture, that orange looking guy, that is your safety brake cable. So if you follow that cable, that orange one, all the way to the left on the truck, you're going to see it's going through to a silver cable and to a pin. That's your emergency breakaway. And God forbid it ever disconnects, that would pull and immediately apply the braking system that you should already have installed on the towed vehicle itself. Now folks, this is a very nice heavy duty steel construction. It's got a beautiful, nice E-coat finish. It's going to resist corrosion, rust, all that good stuff. And it is made here in the USA. Now, some things I want to mention, if you haven't flat towed before, there are a lot of things, honestly, that you're going to need to purchase if you don't already have them as well. So keep that in mind. You're going to need a hitch, obviously, on the RV side. You're going to need the tow bar. You're going to need a base plate that goes under or behind the front bumper of your vehicle that you're towing. You're going to need a wiring plug on the vehicle side. You're going to need safety cables, which this guy actually comes with. You're going to need a supplemental braking system, and that is, to my knowledge, a law in all 50 states. I could be wrong on that, but as far as I know, every state requires a supplemental braking system. And then you're going to need a wiring adapter cord. That way you can plug in the back of the RV and then get all the power to your tail lights on the vehicle being towed and also power that braking system. Now, some things that people don't think about that I personally recommend and that we recommend here at eTrailer is you want to get a nice set of locking pins. So on the front of these guys and with the new Blue Ox and Curt kit that comes with this, the adapters, you're going to get straight pins. Let me zoom in and show you that a little better. Nothing wrong with these. These will technically work. They'll go in there and they'll safely hold it. But the problem is, I personally recommend to everybody, get a locking set, please. So number one, if you lock it, there's no chance of a pin coming off accidentally and this vibrating out or whatnot. And yes, that does happen. Over time, things vibrate loose. With the locking one, it's actually locked in place and it's not going nowhere. So we sell many different lock kits here at eTrailer, and you can find them on the website, etrailer.com. You're going to need at least two, one for each of these adapters that go into the base plate itself, and one up here on the hitch side that's going into the RV itself. And then also, depending on what kind of system you have, you may need some smaller ones, that kind of stuff. So just kind of look all those sets over. You might possibly need a wiring kit with diodes or something of that sort to tow that vehicle. So keep in mind, when you're flat towing, the electrical system in the vehicle is normally shut off completely. So depending on the vehicle, they'll tell you how to set that in your vehicle manual as far as setting up for flat tow. A tow bar cover. So when you get this guy stored, I highly recommend a tow bar cover. Again, that's sold separately here at etrailer.com. That's going to keep everything completely covered, just an extra protection, extra layer, and that kind of thing. And the last thing I recommend to people is also a tow bar repair kit. So simple things like the spring bar latch, maybe some of these plates up here, anything that's a moving part. So God forbid something happens, this thing gets locked out for whatever reason, or it stops working and you're on the road. Honestly, folks, a lot of places aren't going to have some of those things, especially if they're specific to a brand of tow bar. You may be boondocking, you may be out in the desert, the mountains, or wherever, and you just can't get to a store. And you may have to be stuck there ordering a part that could take a week or more, possibly, depending on where you're at. So I personally recommend getting those kind of little things that I just think a lot of people don't think about. It's easy to keep them stowed in a glove box or a compartment. And like I said, God forbid you need them, at least you already have them and you're not scrambling trying to get something last minute when you're trying to enjoy your vacation. So most of those parts are really under $100 or so, give or take. Some of them more, just depends on what you're looking at. But again, it's very, very well worth it, in my opinion, just to give you peace of mind when you're out there on your vacation. So folks, a lot of information. Again, this application here is a 2-inch by 2-inch. Let me give you some measurements on that real quick. So from the top, we'll start in the far right of that image there. From that silver big nut there on top, that bolt, To the first pinhole out, it's going to be 10.5 inches center to center. And on the pinholes themselves, you got 2 inches center to center, and then 3 inches from the center of that farthest back pinhole right to where that down angle of the metal connects. So that kind of gives you some ideas if you're looking at space and measurements, clearance, that kind of stuff. Keep those in mind, please. So folks, as far as some lengths on everything else, the arm length from the center of the hitch pinhole here all the way to the end of the shank to the center of the base plate pinhole, when it's lined up straight, is going to be 51 3/4 inches long. Again, when it's extended, so that measurement. When it's retracted, like this other one, it's 39 1/4 inches, again, from the center of this hitch pinhole out to the end of that bar. Now the built-in rise and drop is 1.5 inches of up or down, depending on how you want to do it. And the head also tilts an additional 3 inches up or down, and that again will help keep the tow bar level with the road. The weight capacity is 10,500 pounds, and the actual weight of the tow bar itself is 46 pounds. So it's really not super heavy, but it's also not really light either. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now the safety cable rating is rated far higher than the actual capacity of the tow bar itself. You get 14,000 pound rated. They also have S hooks with spring latches on all 4 of those hooks that are included. Another thing, in case you're not aware, make sure you cross the cables up in the front when you're hooking up. Again, depending on the application, that kind of gives you an extra level of safetyness up there. Well folks, again, a whole lot of information. I hope it's been helpful. As always, if you got any more questions or concerns, you can reach out to us here at etrailer.com, either by chat, email, or phone. Again, thank you so much for your time. I'm Steven. I hope this information has been helpful. Have fun out there hooking up and stay safe on the road.